Welcome to Worklifecyber. Today, I am going to talk to you real briefly about how I transitioned to IT, how I switched careers. Some of the mistakes I made, I am going to say them so you don't repeat. Well, if you've been on this channel for all 12 seconds we've been on here, you know there's nothing brief about my postings. And some of you let me know that I was long. So I probably won't be brief. Anyway, these are the reasons I'm not brief. So when I decided, and I have a video about why I transitioned, nothing deep there. I just transitioned. Yeah. So go watch that video. But now I'm going to talk about how I transitioned. And I want to say that I made some mistakes. I'll say them as well. It may not be a mistake to you. It may be a path that you took and worked perfectly for you. So when I decided to switch careers, the first thing I did was take a boot camp for 12 weeks. It was a 12-week boot camp. Don't ask me why I did it. I don't recommend them. I'll tell you why later. So I did that boot camp. But what I will recommend, if I am to do it again, I will spend long hours, days, weeks, months, if it gets to that, to decide what I want to do in this life or what I want to do in my next chapter. You know, I didn't do that. I just went, even after I decided that I was going to switch over to IT, I should have taken my time because you and I know IT is really broad. I should have taken my time to decide what I want to do in IT. But my first thing I did was an RMF boot camp. I don't regret doing it, but it wouldn't have been the first thing I did. Yeah. So RMF is risk management framework, and it talks about the 7 steps. Some of you have 8, or was it 6 steps that became 8? You add the preparation step to it. So I did that, but I wasn't getting any jobs with it because it turns out it's very federal. You can apply all the steps to anywhere you go, but if you actually Google RMF, it's federal jobs. But each step of the RMF steps is a whole job title that you can actually apply to be a control selector. I guess it's going to be a control assessor, or you can get jobs to do phases of the steps. Okay, phases. So it can be 2 or 3 of those phase steps that is a job description for you. But it's a story for another. It will be too long if I do that. This is the how I transitioned. So I took that boot camp and then started and got my Security Plus certification because it was recommended. It was the basic one that I won't change. I think it's the basic. At some point in my journey, I was like, I didn't need it, but now I think I need it. Every company that I've worked with, they asked for it. Or it's in conversations after whilst I'm working that Security Plus is good. So I'd recommend it. I think it's baseline for all IT, whatever. So once I did that, I now started looking for jobs. The person who was coaching me, my friend, remember from the other video, who helped me through this, she was like, don't wait till you're ready. And I tell everyone this, anyone that I have tried to mentor or guide or coach in any way, I don't do that professionally. I just help whenever I can. I don't have the bandwidth to do that. So anyone, I tell you, apply now. What do you gain? What do you lose? The worst they can say is no. And whether you're prepared or not prepared, a no is coming. So they're going to say no anyway because you're not prepared. But you know what you gain? Practice. You know what they are looking for. You gain confidence. Yes, it's twisted, but the more rejection you get, you still know that they asked me this, that. You can use that as a guide. You can use that as practice so that when you're ready, you're not using the good clients that you're ready for to practice interview and staying and look eye to eye and all these things, confidence and all these things. You've already done it. And on the good side, you may actually get a job. So there's no right way to start it. Start applying. You know 3 things, start applying. You know 0 things, start applying. You may be surprised what you know, to be honest. Confidence is key. Story for another day. But so I started applying. And when I say that I know for sure I did over 100 interviews, and I will go and sit there, practice, practice, practice. And everything I learned was not asked in the interview. And I'm thinking, what am I doing wrong? But here's what I did wrong. I did RMF and started applying to other things. I would apply to, say, security analyst, which is good. Your knowledge from RMF, you can use it for security analyst, but you got to be specific. You got to say, you're not going to tell them you categorize the system and then you do the selection and then you do the assessment. I may not go, I'm probably wrong on the order, but because in the real world, you're not going to be the one selecting, assessing, and approving at the same time. It's like conflict of interest, right? So I didn't learn all these things. Guess what? I learned them as I did the interviews. I'm like, why are they not hiring me? And then I started learning the things that I am going through, the things I did wrong. What didn't I say right? What are the questions they asked? Let me dig deeper. So that's how I did it. I used the interviewing process. So it took longer. Don't do that. Rather, know what you want to do, whether you want to be in networking, whether you want to be cybersecurity, whether you want to be information security. It's 2 different things. I didn't even know that. So I was doing interchangeable things. I was learning. I was all over the place. That's why it took long. It took longer. Whether you want to be third-party security, which falls under information security, whether you want to be IT audit, whether you want to be IT audit, if you did accounting, you can actually just go from there. Because sometimes, or you can be a SOX audit, which falls under IT audit, I think. There are so many things that if you sit and you decide where you want to go, and even where you want to go, trust me, if you choose to be like a third-party security analyst, it's compliance, right? There are so many things under compliance. So even what you've chosen, you're not limiting yourself. I know some are probably thinking, I don't want to limit myself. You're not limiting yourself. You're just directing yourself and not wasting time, because you can go all over the place. It can even help you. If you need to do this, it's like everything else. Before you go to college, those who know what they are there to do graduate quicker than those who do not know what they are there to do, because advisors are going to just give you automated list of things to do and classes to take, and you realize that you're taking way too many things. So as to those who have done their research and know what they want, they test out of classes, they cut out of classes, they try to do certain courses that are actually beneficial. So that's what I should have done. I did a lot of interviews, and then I started telling myself, you know what, let me just do the basics. At this point, I don't care about the money. I don't care about the company even. I just want to get my foot into it. So if they're paying me 40K, thank God nobody paid me 40K. But whether it's 40K, whether it's 60, whether it's 70, I am going to do it, because the mindset of get into IT and get so much money is true. But you don't get it on your first year. You probably won't get it on your second year, or sometimes even on your third year, because guess what? So many people are transitioning for peace of mind, if nurses are tired of walking around, which I really hope they don't get tired. We need our nurses. We need our pharmacists. Pharmacists are tired of standing all day. Lawyers are just tired of losing their licenses based on some silly mistake they did. Everyone is transitioning to IT. So the field is not saturated yet, but it's not quick money as you think. And quite frankly, do you deserve 6 figures when you don't know anything yet? So give yourself the grace, give yourself the time. I trust the process. Anyway, so I got a job where the manager, the director, was like, oh, good, I like everything on your resume. The interview went well. And he's like, but I am going to train you on what I want from you. In my head, I was jumping and dancing. I'm like, oh, thank God. I don't know anything. So I learned everything from them. Now, I want to say this. Even if when you have gotten the job, I got the job, and the first thing was to review policies. I had never reviewed policies before. What did I do? I started Googling, going on YouTube, going on Microsoft policy guidelines. I went everywhere. I wasn't sleeping. I stayed up all night sometimes. Just my point in telling you this part of my journey is that even when you've gotten the job, your foot into it, don't just relax, because otherwise you will be kicked out the same way you came in. You learn, you study, you keep ahead of the game. All right? So I want to say that with all the companies I've worked with, the learning doesn't stop there. The certification doesn't stop there. The training doesn't stop there. I'm still subscribed to all these things. And the new company I'm working in now, they subscribed us to HISAC, EANS. You can check all these things. I'm not sure if it's free. I think the company pays, but there may be a free version. But look, there's so many information. You gotta keep yourself up to date. You gotta put in the work. And I feel like the universe, God rewards our work, right? And things fall in place for you. So that's my journey. I did the bootcamp first. I won't do the bootcamp first. And then I did my research to decide, because I was getting interviews, but I wasn't acing them. And I was getting overwhelmed because I was reading everything and anything. I was reading network, and I was reading everything. It's good to a certain point, because now I can speak to a lot of things. And then now when I got burnt out, I started saying, okay, what do I want to do in IT? And that's when things started working for me, because now I was able to zoom in. I was able to narrow down what I wanted to do. And then I started using the interviews as guidelines. And when I got a job, it was continuous studies, continual learning. And then I started this YouTube channel as part of my learning, because sometimes when I go on YouTube looking for something, or even Google, and I don't see the things I'm looking for, I see them, but I wish it was done some other way, I write it down. And that's why I decided, you know what, let me put some of my thoughts on YouTube. But honestly, before I started the YouTube channel, I had so many ideas. Now that I have the YouTube channels, I don't have any ideas. So if you know anything that you want me to talk about, I see all your posts, I will get to it one day. Let me know. And I'm learning the YouTube things, the jargons, the ways and everything. I'm now learning them. So I will get to a point where I am consistent with my posting, and I'm actually posting content that will